everyone, and welcome to the General Hospital recap for October 3rd. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. Also, be a beauty and hit that bell down there so you get notified every time we upload a new recap and video. So some old business from yesterday, from October 2nd. I caught this the second time around I was watching the episode because the first time I was watching it on mute. When Franco walked into Jason's room at the long-term facility and he has all these balloons and a bear, and Jason goes, "Oh, there's a 6-year-old down the hall. I think you're in the wrong room." That's really sad. That's a really sad line because he's at a long-term facility for people who are in comas and stuff like that. Does that facility do other things too? Or could the 6-year-old be visiting someone? Because otherwise, that is a really sad line that just kind of... Alright, so I just want to address that from yesterday, and let's get to it. At Windermere, Nina is back at Windermere. Valentine got her an anniversary present, the anniversary of the night they met, like the first night they met. Remember that? It's an extravagant necklace, and she's like, "Did you steal it?" Really, did you steal it? Valentine's like, "No, I didn't steal it," or da-da-da-da-da. He says how he knew she was special and would change his life forever the moment he met her, and then they talk about Charlotte a little bit and the person that she'll turn into, but there's one obstacle still in their future. You'll never guess what it is. They talk about Lulu, and Nina thinks Lulu should suck it up. Her brother was making questionable decisions at the time, and she thinks Valentine killed her brother. If it was Jay, I don't know. It's unimaginable. Okay, few things. Ready? So, in the same breath, she'll condemn Lulu for doing exactly what she'd be doing. Also, since you're in private, own what Valentine did. Oh, she thinks you killed Nicholas. No. Self-defense or not, he killed Nicholas. At least Carly owns Sonny's actions. Alexis owned Julian killing Duke. She didn't sit in denial of it when they were together. She owned it and loved him in spite of that. But even in private, Nina won't own stuff Valentine's done and love him in spite of it. She just wants to pretend it's not real. And I think that at the heart of it is what bothers me the most. I'm always finding things that bother me the most. Tomorrow it'll be like churros bother me the most. And why are churros bothering me? Churros are lovely. Valentine thinks this custody truce between he and Lulu is temporary until Lulu gets something else on him. In Monaco, Finn is going back to meet with Cassie. Do you like the Cassie pictures? Because I'm having so much fun doing micro edits with Cassie's picture in it. And I text her and I'm like, "Hey, you should watch the recap from this to this and from that to that." And she just texts back, "OMFG, what you doing, girl?" Finn and Anna are having a pet breakfast, and he still thinks all of this is about Valentine. Anna really breaks it down for him. Valentine believes he's smarter than everyone else. Logically, he would cut all ties with his criminal past, but if he thinks that anyone from this criminal past of his would benefit his family, Nina and Charlotte, he'd throw back in with Cassie. Anna feels partly responsible for who Valentine is as well, and therefore indirectly what he does. Finn asks how she's responsible, and she's like, "Mind your own beeswax." And honestly, you brought him into this beeswax, so you can tell him about the beeswax. Half the town knows about the beeswax with the Chimera Project, so you might as well tell him. It's time to go. Hashtag let's do this. Anna gives Finn a gift to bring Cassie. It's the super artisan handmade health tea. Finn is at Cassie's house. It's beautiful. It has a terrace. She asks if he's like everyone else and is going to say that all of this is in her head. And he says, "I did find something." And she's like, "Well, how are you different? How can you find something and no one else could find anything?" He tells her about his own Blackwood syndrome, and she knows Blackwood syndrome, and that he found a cure, and she's really impressed. He understands the frustration of being sick and being afraid of not seeing an end to it. Cassie thanks him. He can understand the previous diagnoses of the doctors. It's almost impossible to pinpoint, but there are 3 to 4 things it could be. Her condition is treatable, which is good, but not in Monaco because he's not licensed here. He is licensed in the US though. He tells her about his lab in Port Charles and how he's all set up there. She's reluctant. He totally understands. He can't legally treat her here though. He gives her his card and says, "Look me up if you're ever in Port Charles." He's interested in solving her medical mystery if she's interested in traveling. Finn meets back up with Anna. He fills her in. He doesn't think he's going to see her again. again. Anna wants him to be more specific, and he tells her that he left her his car. He tells her exactly what happened, exactly what I just told you. Well, it turns out the gift that Anna had given him to give Cassie has a listening device in it, but he accidentally left it in the taxi. Oops. In Russia, I'm getting in the spirit. Dr. Klein insinuates Ava won't be going home or having another treatment. She asks why, and he says for aiding and abetting. She defends herself. It was just a paperclip. She says that patient 6 would have escaped without her help, and he's like, well, you'll both be paying the price now. She begs that he fix her face and let her go home. And yesterday, I think I deleted it altogether because it didn't come out the way I wanted it to. In my view, and from what we've seen on the show, Ava isn't used to people holding her accountable for her actions. So when he says, I'm not going to treat you, and she offers him more money and ask, like the police don't hold her accountable, Kiki's forgiven her, Julian always forgives her, well, he's her brother, so, and on kind of the same level, so I understand that. But she can't pay him off, and he's not changing his mind, and she's just not used to that, and she feels so helpless now, and it's like, well, welcome to the rest of the world, Ava, seriously. She begs that he fix her face and let her go home. He says no. She says she'll call the embassy. With what? No one knows where you are and you don't have a phone. He says she'll learn to adjust in time. She punches him and tries to leave, and a man is right outside the door and gets her. She feels she's being blamed for something she didn't do. She says Valentine knows where she is, and Dr. Klein says he'll come up with something if Valentine asks. She says she's very close with Valentine and that they will rethink their decisions once Valentine comes back into the picture. And Dr. Klein says this is about survival right now. Who cares about Valentine? He's literally the least of our problems. There is no escape for Ava. She's locked in, and Dr. Klein comes back in with a needle. At the church, Jason is calling Jason. Jason answers. Who's calling? Who are you? My dream is coming true. Russia Jason has to hang up because men come into the church though. The men ask Griffin if they've seen a man in scrubs, and Griffin says yes, but he left. They still look around a little bit and leave. Jason hides and he thanks Griffin. But Russia Jason doesn't want to use Griffin's phone again because he feels it could be tapped by now. Griffin asks if he was a patient in a clinic, and Jason gives him exact directions to that clinic. Griffin offers any help, but Jason says he can handle it. Griffin is going to give him some cash. Jason, he says no, but he can't stop Griffin. Griffin's going to give him this money. Hey, Griffin, hey. And then Jason really appreciates it, and Griffin heads out. The priest gives Jason shoes. He asks, why? Why are you helping me? And the priest says that this is God's house, and he tells them to help people. I love this man. Like, I know we're not going to be in Russia for too much longer, but can this man move to Port Charles? Because I love him so much. And Jason asks one more thing. He needs to go home. There's people after him, and he doesn't have a passport. He doesn't have much time, and the priest tells him to wait here. He may have a way. Jason changes his clothes and shoes. He takes a moment to pray. Thank you for bringing me this far. Help me get home to my family. Keep me safe. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy right now. I didn't foresee this, me being this happy, but having Steve Burton back is just bringing back so many good memories. I met him. I saw Port Truck back in 2010, which was 7 years ago, almost 8, and I can't handle that right now because I also graduated in 2010. And it's lovely. It's lovely. I hope that they're able to bring Hayden back, but it's just lovely. It really is. And now at the long-term facility, Jason, Port Charles Jason, tells Sam about the call. The number was local, but it wasn't in her contacts. And then they hung up, and she's like, well, let's find out who it was. She calls back and gets the voicemail. It was Griffin. The person on the other line asked who he was. He had asked who the person was. And then this person on the other line started to say, look, I need to, and then it cut off. Sam is very focused on the call, even though they try to start talking about other things. She's going to call again. She calls the hospital this time. It turns out Griffin is out of town, but the other doctor gave her results and she's fine. But something is still on her mind. She feels like she's been telling Port Charles Jason their old life can't exist anymore. And he agrees with her. But does he really? She asks, because he used to live on that. He used to like survive on how their life was. She won't have him killing a piece of his soul and locking it up just for her. He says they can't live the way they did anymore. He can't be in a coma like this. This was agonizing, not being able to talk or help or comfort anyone. And she says that he doesn't have to do this for her. He says the life he had doesn't fit anymore. Sonny will always be his friend, but he doesn't owe him his life. The days of unnecessary risk are over. Sam talks about when they first got together, how much of a mess she was, how he gave her the benefit of the doubt before anyone else. He made her feel safe. She wants him to be whoever he is, that guy or not. She doesn't want to deny who he is to make her happy. He says that's not what he's doing. He wants their family, he wants their home, he wants them. That's what he wants. And I'm like, I love you so much. I love you so much. And now end scene. Anna tells Finn he's a terrible spy. And he's like, I'm not even a spy. He thinks it's officially over, but she wants to go at this a different way. Nina has a meeting. Valentine gets a call. It's Cassie. She knows he's been living in Port Charles, and she asks him about Hamilton Finn. Griffin saves Ava from Dr. Clyde and ejects him with the needle. Yes. Port Charles Jason is clear to go home. Russia Jason hides. The priest comes back in. He has news. Better than the train. Where does he want to go? He wants to go to Port Charles. He wants to go to Port Charles. He doesn't say that yet, but I know he does. He wants to go to Port Charles. Yeah. Alright, thank you so much for watching today's video. Some people haven't been able to see the polls, some people have. What I am going to start doing is putting a graphic here when I do put a poll in, so it calls attention to it. And also I'm going to put the poll question in the description if there is a poll question for the day. There wasn't a poll question yesterday, so make sure you check the description to see if there's a poll question for the day. And I'll put the timestamp that the poll question is, so if you want to vote in the poll you can, or if you want to leave your answer in the comment, you can do that too. I'm going to be taking all of it. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will see you a little later. I'm not sure, it might go up tomorrow morning because I am working late tonight and I almost have a permanent space in my house to film if it's going to be late, so I have decent lighting and I'm not out here in the wild blue yonder. And I hope you have a great day. Alright, bye!